you must ask yourself, if it were denied you to create, if it were denied you to create, if it were denied you to act or to paint or whatever compulsive, creative thing that you do, if that were denied you, would you truly die? And if your answer is yes, then there is no poor and indifferent place for you. There is only a place of creation, and that's the only place that you'll live. And if your answer is no, then for God's sake, give up creating, don't create, go out and find yourself a reasonable, responsible life and have a wonderful life. And enjoy watching other people create. But don't confuse the two, because a creator is a creator, and that's what he is. Why do we want to be actors? I don't know whether you've really thought much about it at your age, but it's a very strange thing to want to be an actor. You're wanting to play a part of a person that isn't you. And yet you want to find the essence of yourself so that you can play these characters. So it's already an abnormal thing to want to do. Also, generally speaking, it's not the extrovert that becomes the really fine actor. It's the introvert. It's the one that has problems expressing himself. It's the one that's oversensitive. James Dean said to me once, he said, he told me something that moved me, and I dropped a tear out of my eye. And he said, someday, someday, it's not enough to drop a tear out of your eye. Someday, when you really have to cry, you're going to have to leave the room. When you really have to cry, it's not a tear that drops out of your eye because you want to show me that you're having an emotion and understand what I'm saying. When you really have to cry, it's such an emotion that you have to leave the room. You have to cry alone. You don't want anybody else to see you cry like that. He said, someday, do that. Do that in front of the camera. The method acting that I'm talking about versus American acting, which was really English acting, which is like using an external thing of like the external gesture, acting drinking, acting smoking, and acting the word, how the word comes out and how it's supposed to sound. How the word comes out and how it's supposed to sound. How the word comes out and how it's supposed to sound. And that's the performance every night. 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 That was no. The first time you read the play, you know how to play the scene or what the scene should be. After that, you forget about these words. You mark out all the indications of he says angrily, he stands and says, he yells, he smiles, he seems to be very happy. Mark those things out. Mark them out and read the words. He says hello, hello. And Strasberg said, you have 5 senses. If you use your senses, then your imagination will work. You'll learn how to use the objects, and you'll have a direct way to your emotional life. And the way you do that is to do these 3 exercises: sense memory, the song, and the dance. Sense memory, you have 5: smell, taste, seeing, hearing, touch. You do one at a time. One at a time. You do sense memory over and over and over. You've got to be in control up here.
In control?
You must always have to be in control. You have to be in control. Even when you're out of control, you must always be in control. It's like opening up, it's like telling a joke. It's like you know how to get to it. So you go through touch, smell, things. And then you shove it down and you walk away from it and you go on a stage and they come in, you're doing the jokes, so the person comes in and says, follow away, you follow it in, you go, boom, and you let it out.
Well, actually, I suppose I'm a method actor. I have my own personal method. Yeah. But what I've simplified it now, and I take it in.
The script tells you what?
Well, the script is the script. I mean, all the information I need is the lines that have been written by Bill Nicholson or Shakespeare or whoever he is. There, put it into the computer, which is up here, which we all have, is the computer, and program it, put it in there, let it cook, let it gestate, and then when you turn up on the set or the stage or wherever you're going to rehearse or shoot the film, whatever, relax. That's the most important thing, to program yourself, is to relax and say, okay, no deep meditation, but say, okay, I'm relaxed, and then come on, and when they say action, let the part play through you. And I find that is for me, the most surprising thing is that the character plays through you, through your instrument, your body, your mind, your psyche, and it filters through you and will take its own course. The fun I get out of it is, the real fun is never knowing what's going to happen next. And even on stage, if you're repeating a performance, you're not quite sure what's going to happen next. And I think that's what you have to do with the other actors. Keep it fluid all the time.
And also fresh.
Yeah, it's difficult on stage to do that night after night, but it's something you can aim for. Sometimes it's exhausting because you come to a point you think, I don't think I can find any more interpretations of this. But whether it's Shakespeare or Sophocles or Tennessee Williams or whatever. When I was a younger actor, and I came here to New York in 1974 to do Equus, I mean, I used to sort of eat the furniture. When you're young, you can do all that stuff, and I was always a bit impressed by myself, thinking, God, this is good. And people seemed to like what I was doing and give me part. But there was a great director I worked with. He's a pretty savage director called John Dexter. He's gone now, he's dead. But he used to shout at me to stand still, hold it, and be economical. Laurence Olivier said the same thing when I was working at the Vic. He said, economize. He said, because if you hit the ceiling all the time, the audience gets dull. They may as well go to the pub and get drunk next door. So he said, don't show too much, just contain. But I never understood that, and as the years have gone by, it's sort of it's happened for me. I understand that the less you show, the less is more. But you have to have the power or reserve inside. But the less you show, you let the audience do the work. And it's a trick, I guess, or it's something that came to me.
The key to being a great actor is to be free of that sense of self and self-awareness, and to be observant of others and of real life. And if everyone is all of a sudden observing you, you have no opportunity to observe and to be free of being conscious of being observed. And so it shifts your ability to grow, and it's detrimental to an actor. And so I had to really shed that and run away from that in a way. And the reality is you can't really escape it.
Well, I always say you use parts of yourself that are usable for the character, of course, but it doesn't mean you are the character or that you subscribe to that behavior or any of that. You have pieces of yourself that are here. It's normal. You got to what you call making it personal.
That's right.
Drawing on your own experience so you can make it more specific, so people can relate better to when they see that it's real and that it comes from a real place. There's more. They can identify with it. They can relate to it more. Hopefully, you do that every time. Not always, but you try.
When I was very young, I started acting very young, and I one of my first auditions. I went out for a show, for a film on public television, a feature film. And before I went in, I was probably just 14. And my dad told me, go in there like you already have the part. And you're just showing them how you do it. And that was amazing advice. And it's an understanding that you have to believe in yourself and what you're doing, especially in a profession like acting, where you have to really become someone else. And you really have to own it. You have to own that responsibility, and you have to know it. And the rest is irrelevant. If they recognize it or not, it's irrelevant, but you have to go in there with an understanding that you are, you're already that character. You're already the right person for the job, and, you know.
People sometimes say, what do you want to play? And I go, well, I could tick off a few Shakespeare parts or well-known Ibsen parts, but actually that's not really it. I want to be surprised by a new script, something I've never heard of, and you go, oh yes, oh my God, what is this new thing? I've not heard of it, I've not read the source material, and this all feels, may sound a bit airy-fairy, but I think all actors have, oh, this role has come to me and I meant to do it. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I meant to do this, it's come to me, and this other person is doing it. I like characters that have contradictions inside them. Acting was about becoming someone else. You changed completely and you were not recognizable. To a certain extent, it can be about that, but as I've got older, I've thought, no, the springboard is yourself. You're given a sports car where you can rev it up with anger and contempt, and there's no compromise, and it's shocking, and some people find it, but it's thrilling to play. Challenge your audience with it. Argue with me if you dare. You will not win. I know the answer, and that's a great provocation. Characters mark you. There's often a time of a kind of mourning if you've loved playing a part and you've given it everything. It's not that you let go of the part, but you're feeling a kind of mental exhaustion. So you need time to just shake it away.
What's the definition of a Hollywood actor? Myself, I'm from Mount Vernon, so I'm a Mount Vernon actor. I don't know what Hollywood means. That's something. I know it's a place.
I think it's somebody who's famous on film, a film actor, great success on film.
I'm a stage actor who does film. It's not the other way around. I did stage first. I learned how to act on stage, not on film. Movies are filmmakers' medium. You shoot it and then you're gone, and they cut together and add music and do all of that. Theater is an actor's medium. The curtain goes up and you're on, and nobody can help you. I worked my whole career for this moment. This is a 48-year journey for me. It's fascinating to have been too young for the part, and some may say now too old, but 48 years of experience, so 48 years of pain and pleasure and life has informed my approach to playing the role.
That's a wonderful thing about theater, because it gives you a chance to play and exercise your craft and do your thing. I like all characters in drama, because you know what they're going to do, and you just, you know, they know who they are, and they know where they've been, and they know where they're going. At least you do, even if they don't. You follow my drift. So it's enjoyable to play people that are not like you. See, researching for actors seems to be so so tangible. It's so immediate. It's kind of an easy thing to do when you think of it. Because there's so much, you have access after you've been around a while and people know who you are. You have access into places and people. You sort of go into it really heavy in rehearsal. You just sort of pile it all on. You pile it all on because you feel, you know, you need more than you're gonna need. So you really take it into your daily life and stuff. And then finally you start to shed it layer by layer until hopefully you can do it on cue.
Some of the greatest advice, I think, is just always knowing that it's a journey. There's huge ups, huge downs, and you keep on going. And that's probably, I knew that when I was 14. I didn't know how, like, I just didn't know where I was going to end up, but I knew that I had passion, and I knew that I was willing to work, and I knew that I was willing to grow and willing to change and constantly be a seeker.
Well, it's a life force for me. It keeps me alive. When I started this business, I was kind of in and out of it in my head, because it seemed self-aggrandizing to me. And today even more so, because, you know, there's so much to do in terms of publicity and things. But I finally realized that what we can do as actors, if we're lucky, is to create empathy. I think that's the most important thing, not only for artists, but for the world, especially now. And to bring people out of their tribes and open their eyes to other worlds, other cultures, and that's what keeps me going. And I feel lucky that I've been able to, and you know, as an actor, I've always said you don't know what your work is going to be, because you have to kind of sail your little boat out there and then let it go, and you don't know who it's going to touch or where it's going to go, and you have to have faith that maybe, you know, you will touch someone's heart and change their minds about something, and you got to keep hubris out of it. You just got to focus on the work, and I always felt that early on the work speaks for itself, and after that you got to let it go. So that's what keeps me going. I want to show the humanity in characters, even though they may be people that have done terrible things. I want to try and create human beings, because I think we're all complex. We all make mistakes. We all struggle. And everybody's got a story. When you do something because you love it, it's being an amateur, because it comes from the Latin amo amas amat. You do it because you love it. And if you're a professional, you have to do it regardless of whether you love it or whether you feel like it that night. The trick is to keep both, because if you don't love it, then it's empty. And as someone said to me back in those days, you need a head like a bullet and a heart like a baby.